During my senior year of high school, I realized I was becoming an adult, so I decided to act like an adult and get a job. I applied for work at the local Sears and was hired on the spot. Because I knew nothing about hardware, I was assigned to work in the hardware department. As a representative of the department, I was forced to wear this official Sears Craftsman hardware vest. This is the actual vest. I have trouble letting go. I didn't like wearing this because the customers could quickly identify me as an employee, and then they would ask me questions. I could answer simple questions like, "Where's the bathroom?" or "What year is it?" But if anyone asked me something about tools, I would make things up. And people believed me on account of my magic red vest. It was the equivalent of a doctor's white lab coat. Only once, one time, as I was lying to a man about a wrench, specially designed by NASA. Only that one time did a customer call my bluff. The man gave me a funny look and asked, "Are you messing with me? Because if you are, that's fine, but could you go get someone who knows what they're talking about?" I smiled cordially at the man and said, "I'll be right back." It didn't take long for my supervisors to figure out I was a false prophet. Instead of firing me, they transferred me to a different department, customer service. The customer service department is where people went to complain about things when they were furious. People would rabidly yell and shake their fists at me all the time. They were so adorable. My new colleagues at customer service were a friendly bunch, especially a woman named Cynthia, who was a little older than me and quickly developed a habit of grabbing my backside whenever she pleased. Yes, this was sexual harassment, but it made the day go by faster. All in all, I enjoyed working at customer service, except for during one particular time of year, the holidays. During the Christmas season, an additional responsibility fell upon each customer service employee. We had to gift wrap presents. There were 3 hard and fast rules when it came to gift wrapping. Rule number 1, do not use more gift wrapping paper than necessary. Rule number 2, do not gift wrap anything that was not purchased in the store. And rule number 3, do not gift wrap any item larger than a pot-bellied pig. I don't know how a pot-bellied pig came to be our official point of reference, but that was the animal. If we were to break any of these rules during the holiday season, we would surely incur the wrath of our department manager, a towering woman by the name of Elizabeth. In her early 50s, Elizabeth was slim and wore her hair in a long, unsettling ponytail. To hear my coworkers describe her, Elizabeth was a fire-breathing dragon who ate small children for breakfast. She was the beast in the back office who made rare appearances, mostly to extinguish her underling souls. I never had a problem with Elizabeth because, not to brag, I was a rising star in customer service. This was mostly a result of my good friend Chuck Lundy, who, unbeknownst to me, would frequently call in, disguising his voice as various old ladies, lavishing high praise on the incredible service I had provided, even on days I wasn't working there. Despite my stellar record, I had to be extra cautious over Christmas. Elizabeth was obsessed with gift wrapping. We were to treat our supply of paper as if it was a commodity as precious as time or oil. I hate gift wrapping things. I am the world's worst gift wrapper. If I have to wrap something, I will usually put the present in an empty cereal box or a large, dark garbage bag. And I will say, "Here you go, marry everything." I was not allowed to wrap things like this at Sears. Luckily, I was usually able to avoid gift wrapping, passing that duty off to a merciful coworker like Cynthia, who would happily take the item from me with a wink and a firm pat on my behind. On a particularly busy evening on Christmas Eve, through the glass entrance doors, I saw a cab pull up to the curb. A distinguished gentleman with silver hair lumbered out of the idling cab carrying a large box. He made his way into the store, and as fate would have it, it fell upon me to ask how I could help him. The large box contained a baby car seat. He wanted it gift wrapped. I tried not to look too happy when I told the man I couldn't help him because the car seat had not been purchased in the store and also due to the size of pot-bellied pigs. He flashed an anxious smile and explained his close friend had just given birth to a baby girl with a hole in her heart. Emergency surgery was going to be performed. The man was headed to the hospital, and he wanted to give the car seat to his friend as a Christmas gift. He wanted it wrapped to make her feel like it was a normal Christmas, like everything was going to be okay. I could see he was telling the truth. I smiled politely at him and said, "No exceptions." He was crushed. And then someone said, "No exceptions, except for this one exception about to be made." To my surprise, I was the one who said this. Cynthia and the rest of my colleagues were busy with other customers. I warned the gentleman that I was the world's worst gift wrapper, and that was not hyperbole. In fact, I had learned the word hyperbole for just this instance. He promised as long as there was paper for his friend to tear off the box, he would be happy. With that, I hoisted the car seat off the counter and carried it into the back. I pulled enormous sheaths of wrapping paper off the rolls and hiked around the box, doing my best to cover it up. As I wrestled with the wrapping paper, I suddenly noticed a shadow looming over me. I looked up and saw Elizabeth, arms folded, glaring. The sleeping giant had been awoken. We locked eyes. I informed her, "There's a baby with a hole in its heart, emergency surgery." I explained everything. Elizabeth continued to stand there in silence for a moment, and then she began to help. I was already almost finished, so even with Elizabeth's help, the wrapping job was truly horrendous. It was an abstract work in the vein of Salvador Dali. Had it been placed on display at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, it would have easily fetched $500,000. But this was Sears in San Diego. And Elizabeth was convinced not only would the man at the counter refuse to pay $10 for the job, he would also demand to speak to the manager. I promised her he's not going to be upset. She admonished me, saying, "Are you kidding? You've done a horrible job. He'll be enraged. I'll be waiting right here." I returned to the front counter without the wrapped box, wanting to mentally prepare the gentleman. I told him, "It's finished. I'm going to bring it out now." There's something you should know. It is as bad as I promised, possibly worse. He nodded with encouragement, signaling he was ready. I returned to the back, where a solemn Elizabeth was also ready to be summoned. As I carried the newly wrapped baby car seat to the front, there was a collective gasp from the other customers. I presented the gift wrap box to the gentleman. He studied it and then declared, "It's beautiful," smiling brightly to everyone's amazement, including my own. He quickly paid, hopped back into the cab, and headed to the hospital. I don't know what happened to the baby with the hole in her heart. I was a bit player in this particular life drama. Let us assume she survived and became manager of the last remaining Sears around the corner. And let us assume as manager she changed the gift wrapping policy. I don't know. I do know, without a doubt, that the mother of the baby girl had one heck of a time unwrapping her Christmas gift. And while she unwrapped it, it felt like everything was going to be okay and that it was a normal Merry Christmas.